Welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that sees a no fracking bumper sticker and just expects that it had something to do with Battlestar. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Chad, and we're back with another week full of movies. Today we're talking about Promised Land, the new Matt Damon film.
And then on Thursday, we're going to be giving our review of Catherine Bigelow's new movie, Zero Dark 30.
As always, you can check us out over at Twitter, at Epic Geek Out. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/epicgeekout, and also check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com. But let's get into our review of Promised Land. So Promised Land is Gus Van Sant's new movie. Well, he directed it, and actually it stars Matt Damon and John Krasinski, who actually co-wrote the movie together after they met on the set of Adjustment Bureau, which Emily Blunt, which is John Krasinski's wife. So they met on the set of that movie and decided to write a movie together. If Ben Affleck didn't, just have a great directing career, I'd see him crying in a corner since Matt Damon left him for the screenwriting gig. But anyway, so Promised Land is the story about these two salesmen who are going to rural communities, more or less poor communities, and attempting to sell the idea of putting natural gas wells on these people's lands. And in the beginning of the movie, Matt Damon is, kind of tapped to become the next vice president of sales, things like this. And then, he kind of runs into this, moral conflict of this town and kind of a Hollywood movie storyline. And, it doesn't hit too many curves or really, but interesting idea. This is a topic, we're from Pennsylvania, and this is going on in the northern part of Pennsylvania, so kind of a really like pertinent topic for our lives. But Chad, what do you think of the movie?
I wasn't at all thrilled to see this.
Not excited to see it. If you follow our Twitter feeds, you made fun of having
exactly.
to see it, but
we didn't know we were going to see Zero Dark 30 at this point, so we were trying to figure out what movie to see this week. And none really sounded too appealing to me. The other was The Impossible, which looked like also
tsunami movie
or
natural gas movie. But it was like it
wasn't bad, but that's because I really wasn't expecting much. You don't really get a lot with this movie. You get a weirdly, in my opinion, weirdly paced, strung along plot of like this weirdness that happens. The subject matter isn't interesting. I mean, it's a little interesting for us because we do know about this stuff, but really when it comes down to it and you really think about it, it's not an interesting topic. They try to make it cinematic as much as possible, but the big beats in this movie that are dramatic and kind of are the movie moments that make the movie worth being a movie have nothing to really do with the actual argument here.
It's more based on the characters.
It's more based on the characters and what happens behind the corporation and stuff like that, which it could have been any corporation with any topic. It didn't have to be natural gas. Acting was good all around. So was the guy's name the older guy that was the teacher?
Hal Holbrook.
Yeah, he's awesome, but he's awesome
really
in
good
a lot of stuff. I thought the female Frances McDermott, that's her name, right? Was really good. That's the female counterpart to
and Rosemary DeWitt. She
was also very good.
The love interest kind of character, which seemed forced. I know.
Yeah, the love part. They forced this weird love story in there for absolutely no reason. I think the screenwriting was weak, and unfortunately, I feel bad that they wrote it because I was hoping for something good, but I think that was the weakest part because it didn't really have a nice, it could have been a half-hour, 45-minute movie, but they drew out parts of it.
Or a really, really interesting documentary.
Yeah,
is kind of how I felt.
And that's another thing, is like how much of this was based, obviously not based on real life because Global Tech or whatever the name of the stupid name of the fictional company. But I was questioning because I know like the shale that they're talking about, that's real, and fracking is obviously a real thing. But I mean, it didn't draw a clear line of distinction between what was real and what was fake. Because it would have been interesting if this was a real town, this was based on true story. I have no idea. I don't think it is. But very liberal movie, which probably most of our audience is, because a lot of that's a lot of the tech people today are very liberal. We're not as liberal, I guess you could say.
I didn't actually get that too much. I got that. I
got that because when it tried to be balanced, it was it came back 1-2 punch. Like it was like, oh, here's this view to counterpoint it, but here's this view which completely smashes this view. And that's kind of how I felt, because there were some grandiose moments, and Matt Damon had these big speeches where they were like, they meant so much and they were so important, but then at the end of the day, like, it just didn't matter because I don't want to spoil the ending, but he kind of, what he was saying made no impact in the lives of these people, made no impact in his own life. So it was just kind of left him hollow a little bit for me, his character, which was kind of disappointing because those moments that he had I thought were really awesome and cool, and he made some good points, and I saw both sides too. I don't mean it definitely wasn't smacking me over the face with like liberalness, but there were I thought at points it had good both sides, but then it just completely at the end was like everything, whatever. So all in all, not an awful movie, but also not a great movie, and I think you can, if you're interested in this, check it out when it comes out on video. But if you don't think you're going to be interested in a movie about natural gas, you're probably not going to like this movie.
Yeah, I like this movie enough to recommend it to the people that I think would like this movie. I'm not going to recommend this movie to everyone, but there are certainly people that I would say, go see this movie. People that aren't going to really criticize things too much and aren't looking for, a tremendous Hollywood experience. It wasn't overly long, which I appreciated, opposed to a lot of other movies we're seeing lately, like Zero Dark 30, that, you know, breach that 2.5 hour mark, which, is you need to maintain a lot for a movie to hit that. This was really a Hollywood movie through and through. A lot of choices in it were moments like, he leaves a house and he has to walk, and he sees a sign that points forward, and then there's a sign that points backwards, and he goes and walks to the one that points backwards. And like in your face, just stuff like that it's like, oh man, did they really just go for these blatantly obvious metaphors and things like that? But throughout it, there were some moments in this movie that I really liked. Matt Damon has a speech in the bar, because another point of Matt Damon's character is he talks how he kind of, in his mind, escaped a town like this where people have no ambition, and he was the only people to go to college, and now he's doing it. And you saw his character struggle with this. Like, there was a part of him that you could still tell that felt comfortable in this environment, whereas there was part of him that just wanted to get out of it. Like, it was life or death, really, for his character to get out of that situation. And it was Hollywood in the ending and things like that. But the one speech he had in the bar, against these kind of, locals who were, angry at him, was so poignant and so truthful. Then there was a quasi twist in the movie that I did not see coming at all. And
I didn't either. Yeah,
totally took me off guard, and I really enjoyed that. And that I think is why I'm recommending the movie, because I was just like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. Yeah. The love story was very, very forced, I thought, and just like, oh really, they're doing this? Like, I wish that they kind of didn't do it. There are other things that, like, they go to these hick towns, and I don't mean to say hick towns, but that's kind of how they treated it. And they go to the local store and buy clothes. Is there really going to be a difference between each of these towns? Why wouldn't you just have the clothes that you bought from the last one, pack it, and not make yourself so out? Like going to town.
But they did that in service of the plot, so they had.
Yeah, in service of the plot. But like, they could have had a phone call where they were at home and they're packing their bags, and like, you see them like look in the closet. There's their suits, then there's flannel, and they pick the flannel. Like, moments like that just made no sense to me.
Don't you feel like?
And there were other parts that didn't really hold true to what they were going for, and then kind of things. But
you're speaking about the bar speech, which I also thought was awesome. But didn't you feel like the ending completely invalidated that?
Yeah.
And that's why I was irritated, because I was like, this is such a cool moment, and then the cool moments that for me were kind of just.
And then like the first auditorium speech with him going against Hal Holbrook's character, and the banter between them, I thought was good and enlightening, and kind of seeing, even I know it's dramatized, but seeing what they kind of do to get their way for things, And then there was like the one guy who lived in a trailer who gets a Corvette, and it's just like a lot of stereotypical things that it seems like someone in college who is this their first script that they're trying to sell would have went for. Yeah. But there was enough that I did kind of like it, just because I wasn't expecting so much.
Yeah, and they definitely didn't. I mean, I'm from a similar small town. They nailed the feel of it. I feel like it did feel authentic.
And that's what I was going to say is, another character in this movie was the town. They really had shots of this town just well, and you understood it. They kept going back to this one bar. They had that diner, and that feel, it was contrived at times, but it really felt like the town. The credits scrolled over just, like kind of a pull-out shot of the town itself and just seeing all the farms and things like that. So I really appreciated that, and I thought they did service to that. And
there was definitely things to like, and but I'm gonna warn people. Like you said, I think the best. You're gonna recommend this to people that you think will like it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not for everybody. So if you think a natural gas movie sounds awesome, then you might like this movie.
So it's that time of the episode where we like to give our thanks. Chad, what are you thankful for today?
Over break, I got a chance, you guys know, we live in Philadelphia. I got a chance to go to the Titanic exhibit at the Franklin Institute, which is pretty awesome. I know you've been before. Really cool experience.
Now it's just the Franklin.
No, I think they changed it back.
Oh, did they? Good,
yeah.
good. Because
I think it was. I think people were very confused by that. But yeah, they have exhibits there periodically, big exhibits, and this is one of them. And they had, the whole point of the exhibit is you walk in, you get assigned a person that was actually on the boat.
You get like a passport,
You get
right?
their passport with like
cool.
their information, which is cool. You go through, they have relics that they pulled from the ocean floor and stuff. And then they also have recreations, like they have a room that looks like the staircase. They have the room that's like the boilers and all that stuff. And then just a really cool exhibit. It's a really geeky thing. I like the Titanic. I think it's a cool topic.
You love the movie, right?
I do know that it's a real event, unlike some people on Twitter.
Oh God, that's awful.
But yeah, it's really cool. And if it comes to your area, I don't know. It usually goes on tour. I know Vegas has it and stuff at times. So if you ever get a chance to check it out, I think it's really worthwhile. Just seeing some of the crazy stuff that they pulled up is pretty awesome. It's history. It's 100 years old, so it's pretty cool.
Oh wow. Yeah, I always hated when you go on cruises and they have you take the pictures in front of the staircase.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that just doesn't bode well. It feels wrong.
Feels bad.
But yeah, I'm going to actually thank probably my favorite show on television right now. It's one that people might not expect, but I absolutely love Top Chef. Top Chef is a reality-based cooking show that I think it's on its 10th season right now, and I have watched every episode up to now. And, it starts off with, let's say, 15 contestants. I think that number is wrong. And they have challenges throughout, the episodes. It's an hour-long episode, so it has a lot of time in it. And the craziest challenges, like, and to see what they can create is true artistry. And it's just a really it's such a great show. And unlike shows like Chopped, you really get to like the people on the show, and you end up, and you're with them. It's the same people, and one eliminated Survivor style every episode. But it's just a great show to watch. And if you're interested in cooking or anything like that, I really would recommend. You can go back and watch the past seasons. And
is the current season on right now?
The current season is on right now.
Did it just start, or has been on for?
It's been on for a couple weeks. So yeah, it's one of those shows though that I actually sit down to watch when it's on. And that's a true test of what I like in TV. So
cool. So we'll be back on Thursday. We're talking about Zero Dark 30, the new film from Catherine Bigelow. But make sure you check back for that. Thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you next time.